Torrents of hate from Mephisto, and this combination executed perfectly at the end of the game.
From Alarak, make it a quad kill set up by that ETC.
Wow, did you see that mosh pit? 4-man mosh pit while on a conveyor belt. That was like a regular sushi line.
Nubrak, core at 50%. Both cores are just absolutely melting. Which one's going to go down first? I think this is going to be Respect the Gooses. Oh my goodness.
Ring. Oh my goodness, the ring. Jaina just pulling up everybody here. That's a 4, make it 5
And it
for
does
nothing.
knock them all up. What a play! Oh my God! Somebody please clip that.
Hello everybody and welcome back to the Nexus Gaming Series. Tonight, I'm accompanied by my good friend Alice here, bringing us a little squeak activity. I don't know, maybe my noise suppression will cover that, but if it doesn't, don't worry, she'll get tired of it soon. But tonight, Arrow here, bringing you a match between ProBUs Drift, Cannon Rush, and Frank's Furters. And our teams are ready to go. Took them a little bit, had to wait on just one person there, but we are all set. So I'm going to cover a couple of things, and we're going to get right into the draft. They've already started that. Take a start at the standings. So as we can see here, ProBUs Drift currently tied with Kael'thas Can't Spell at number 8. So a win here would be absolutely huge for them. Frank's Furters currently sitting at number 13, so they're a little bit of a climb for them to catch up, and I'm not sure if there's a point now where any teams are potentially eliminated from the playoffs, but in any case, they certainly want to get a big win here to give them some points. But before we get into the game, let's take a quick peek at what we've got for our map bans. We had ProBUs Drift starting us off with the Sky Temple and Towers of Doom bans. Feels bad. Don't get to see many Towers of Doom games these days, it seems like. And Frank's Furters coming in with the bans on Brax's Holdout and Dragonshire. And our first map here going to be Infernal Shrines. And as you can see, we've already started off with the bans from ProBUs on ETC and Kael'thas, and with the bans from Frank's Furters, Varian and Sylvanas. Now I do recall seeing some previous bans with the Varian against ProBUs Drift here, so not a big surprise there. Also, ETC, Raynor, kind of favorite picks of the Frank's Furters in their past seasons, so ETC being banned out, not a big surprise. Raynor still can do a lot of work these days, so leaving him open means that they're going to get a first pick. But we've got Johanna sitting on the side of ProBUs, and this is a great map for Johanna. She's got the Condemn reduced cooldown at level 4 there, and that can provide a lot of value on the shrines. Anubrak getting a little bit of a buff here recently, got his shield increased, so it'll be interesting to see how does ProBUs respond to that. They're going to go ahead and pick up the Ragnaros and Jaina, so kind of a melee mage kind of thing along with a ranged mage with the Jaina. You know, I think I recall seeing a game not too long ago with Ragnaros on this map for ProBUs, so a couple of, you know, comfort picks and potentially some big damage. Now that does kind of play into the Anubrak though, because Jaina's going to be mitigated by Anubrak, especially with those frost bolts, especially over the shrine. She's not going to be able to hit people as easily. As the Rhaegar going to be banned out by Frank's Furters. Rhaegar would have been a good pick for them, at least from what they're showing so far, so we'll have to see what they do with the rest of it. Quick moment to shout out everybody in chat. Good to see everybody here. Definitely recognize a lot of names out there. Majesty, of course. thanks again for casting our match the other night. We got Lily and Tuna, 8-Bit, of course, cheering on his sister team. And we're going to see Ana and Li Ming coming in. So, an Ana being able to nano boost to Li Ming can do a lot. This is probably one of the more difficult maps for Li Ming, just in general. But with the right alignment and setup, she can certainly get a lot of value. So, we'll have to see how they play that hero that they can kind of has a little difficulty with those shrine defenders. And we're going to see Lucio and Lunara. So, looking to spread that damage around. Nubrak definitely looking at that level 7 talent that reduces cooldown of the shield when taking ability damage. So, I imagine that we'll see that coming up here. But final pick's going to be our offlaner. Is it going to be something like an Imperius or maybe even a Urel? Probably Sonya. Sonya gets a lot of value here. Instead, it's going to be a Garrosh. So, all right then. This could be interesting. We got a full double tank here. I kind of wonder who they're going to put in the off lane. My guess would be a Nubrak. I don't know. Because a Nubrak does a lot of work. Like, he can mitigate a lot of the damage that we see here. From Lunara, from Jaina. I'm not positive. I got name dropped. Indeed. So, let's see. Which draft do I prefer here? This is a tough call. I think because both of our mages are kind of in the same boat in that they're both going to have difficulty getting the damage to where they want it to go, I think. Obviously, Jaina has a little bit of easier time with it because her Cone of Cold and Blizzard will hit an area. Oh, man, this is a tough call. I don't know. I think it's a coin flip, honestly. Let's get our teams introduced as we get into game number 1. On the left here, we've got ProBUs Drift Cannon Rush. We got Aruba playing some Lunara. Desda on the Lucio. Chaos Tank, going to be playing that Johanna. Badgerlord on the Ragnaros and Hirobi on the Jaina. And over here for the Franks Furters, it's going to be Boggs on the Rainer here. Indecisive playing the Ana. DJ Cold Cuts on the Garrosh. Dallying Pig on a Nubrak. And Magic Maps are playing the Li Ming. Now, I believe that Dallying Pig's generally the primary tank. So we may very well see an off-lane Garrosh. And taking that Wrecking Ball talent here, Unrivaled Strength, kind of lends to that. Not that he couldn't literally take any other ability, but that does kind of give the impression that he's going for a little bit more wave clear. We'll see what he takes at level 4 if he continues to take kind of the more standard Unstoppable talent, which would be helpful against the Jaina. But throwing just the minion will do a bunch of additional damage thanks to that Unrivaled Strength. Otherwise, we do have the Force Armor here for Li Ming, getting that additional mana. And the Spell Armor that'll help particularly with Jaina's damage, although Lunara will eat away at that pretty quickly, I think. I think Monkus is right. I think it's going to depend on how things go with those ultimates, right? And which ultimates as well. We'll see how that turns out for us here. We got Ragnaros going into Meteor build. And Boggs up here in the lane with... I'm assuming he can see that, right? Okay, yeah, I'm pretty sure he could see that. He was right here, so... Thinking he was out of vision, but just barely in vision as we get the first siege camp of the game going out, and it's going to be ProBUs picking it up. Get a little HOTS spray over here just to remind everybody that HOTS is 5 years old, I think, now, officially. Keep getting a little pauses. I might have to turn off expression. We'll see how that goes. But Li Ming coming in, getting a little bit of poke damage, but not fast enough as ProBUs Drift is going to manage to pick up the bottom siege camp now. And that puts him a little bit ahead in the XP. Frank's Furters now possibly looking at theirs? Maybe not. I they don't really have good shrine clear, or rather good camp clear, without having Bogs there. The Rainer is really the bulk of their damage for being able to clear those camps. And Li Ming certainly could as well, but we got Badger coming in. Boggs, recognizing the rotation coming in, is doing everything he can to try to get away. But there's nothing to be done about that, and that's going to be first blood going over to ProBUs. Great rotation in there, and they still have the opportunity for Lunara to gather this soak in the middle. She can kill these, you know, pretty easily. What'd she take it for? Let's take a look at that here. So she took Blossom's Well, so doesn't have Nature's Culling. So not quite going to have the same ability to bring down those minions, the camps, the Shrine Defenders, Punishers, but does give her a little bit more flexibility with her Q. And Munkus calling out kind of much the same, just in a different way, saying not having Jimmy there to assist in those rotations is definitely causing this to go a little bit slower. And we do see Boggs now here to help bring down this camp. Ace in the hole to pick here, so not the Exterminator. That was, of course, nerfed in the most recent patch. And we got a full rotation, and Li Ming is fairly nearby, so this could be a little bit dangerous. Garrosh could be looking to throw the Johanna right over that wall, and that's going to give him the point if so, but Johanna using the Unstoppable, going to be able to make it out of there. And the point going over to Frank's Furters as they get their first camp of the game. But meanwhile, up in the top, we do have a Shaman camp pushing. We'll have to see just how far can ProBUs get on this shrine with that camp. Or will Frank's Furters eventually send somebody up here? So just about equal as Ragnaros popping his Molten Core, throwing out the Rune of Flame and the Meteors there. Getting them a nice healthy burst on the Shrine minions here as Li Ming went up to clear up top. 30 to 20 as we see Li Ming and Ragnaros coming back in. Chaos Tank is a bit low here. And only a few left to go. Box falling a bit low here to the Lunara as well, so has to pull back a little bit. Does get some healing from the Ana as the throw going out. Badger looking for the Li Ming, but doesn't have any mana really to speak of, so having to pull back. But so is Boggs. Only 2 left for ProBUs, but not far away is Frank's Furters, but they do get the last one, and ProBUs will pick this up. Now, Johanna has no mana to speak of, so really in an awkward place to try to push with this. So I imagine that they'll tap, maybe see if they can get any kind of significant wall damage here. But with this being a Frozen Punisher, they do pull it to jump right on the wall rather than jumping over the wall, preventing it from being able to shut down the fort and ultimately giving a little bit more value to Frank's Furters in this. Because otherwise, when this pops over the wall, it can stop the fort, it can stop the wall, and that gives ProBUs all the opportunity then to push that down. And we do have now Garrosh in the solo lane. Let's take a look at those talents. What did Garrosh take? So he does have the Indomitable. So taking kind of more of a standard tank-like build. Meanwhile, Anubarak not taking any of the spell armor talents. So it doesn't have the additional spell armor for Beetles, doesn't have the spell armor for his shield, and not taking that cooldown. So a little bit of a different build there, looking for that additional health, the additional Beetles, and that damage over time effect here. The Ana is going to get the Sleep Dart onto Lunara. Dowling Pig falling a little bit low there, having to pull away from the Johanna. Put that away. We're very close in XP, though. Let's actually take a look at how those XP numbers break out. Looks like, so far at least, Frank's has been able to pick up a little bit more minion XP, which has been offset by the Merc XP, the heroes, and the structures, getting those towers down. So, pulling the bottom camp right in the face of 3 of Frank's Furters there. But Frank's is going to go ahead and move up, try to get their own siege camp. But with 2 of them up here, and this camp down here, what are we going to see? We are going to see this rotation in. There's only 1 minion left. Both of these tanks are nearby. Level 10 is coming up. Ultimately, first for ProBUs potentially here. The throw coming any moment now. But not enough. Couple more seconds and maybe they're able to pick that up with the level 10s, but it's actually going to be Frank's Furters getting their level 10s first. As both teams now have their heroics. And there's the throw out onto Johanna, but you know what? The Unstoppable was enough to prevent the Blessed Shield, but the damage from that still going through, and it's going to be a Johanna kill claim onto Garrosh. And the instant call for the Shaman camp here. There's still a full... Oh, Bog's coming down into it. That could have been a dangerous moment if there was some awareness in that bush there. But ultimately, they're able to pick it up. I think Bog's going on to the point. Ragnaros throwing out Sulfuris there and is ultimately going to get the kill. Speaking of that kill count, how does that look right now? Johanna's gotten the last 2, and there are only 3 kills this game. Did we just see a hat trick? I'll let you know as soon as I can find which page it's on. There it is. Oh, nope. Ragnaros got the first kill of the game. So close. But no hat trick for you, Johanna. Shaman camp going to get picked up here. So since this next Punisher is coming in the top lane, it's not going to provide mega pressure or anything like that, but it does provide another thing for Frank's Furters to have to deal with. And with these shrines, whether it's Ragnaros popping Molten Core, whether it's the slows coming out from Jaina, she also has the Water Elemental and the poke damage from Lunara. There's a lot to deal with here. So Garrosh looking for a big taunt combo, is going to throw out, taking all the damage from the Blizzard, is going to pop Unstoppable to get away. Negates the Blessed Shield once again, but it did go out onto 2 others here. Hirobi very low as Sulfuris coming down once again. Li Ming going to fall up above, and Dallying Pig looking to try to get onto the Jaina, but can't quite stick in it long enough. Both of the tanks here falling, and Boggs will fall to the Lunara damage. Possibly another as Garrosh going to be taken out there by Jaina as he throws Indecisive away, keeping Ana alive. But that's going to all but secure this top Punisher. It's going to be a Mortar Punisher coming in for ProBUs Drift. Talk about some of these ultimates. So it, of course, was that nano boost for the Li Ming. We got the Wave of Force, Warlord's Challenge, the AoE Taunt, Hyperion, and the Cocoon. I'm not sure if we even saw the Cocoon there. I'm assuming we must have, but I didn't catch it. Is this... Yeah, it is still Fierce. Okay. Well, the Punisher's going to get pulled over there, and Blessed Shield going out onto 3 under the tower, taking a lot of damage here. The Mortar's coming out just a little bit too late as both Dallying Pig and Boggs there caught. But they're able to make it away. Garrosh going to catch the stun this time. Unstoppable used just a moment too late, as Ana using that healing grenade to make sure that DJ Coldcuts survives, as the Lunara Nature's Toxin just getting so much value on this team. And there's the stun. Can they get the follow-up? Looking for it onto Raynor. Some extra healing there coming from the Ana. Likely enough just to keep him alive as the Punisher was going to town. Take a look at some of these level 13 talents here. So we do have Abolish Magic, which is going to help with the Warlord's Challenge. Possibly a Sleep Dart. There's the throw onto Johanna, but there's no wall to prevent it, so no big deal, as the Siege Camp is successfully invaded this time by ProBUs. They've been trying, every time it's been up, they've been there, trying to get it. And it's the 3rd time that ultimately gives them that opportunity. Sleep Dart going out, knocks, the Wave of Force knocks Jaina off. This could be what Franks needs. There's a Cocoon onto Johanna. They get the invade, but the Sulfuris Smash doing a lot of work there. Nano boost out onto Garrosh. And Johanna gonna make it out of the Cocoon, and what does it take? That was about as good of an engage as they possibly could have had, and Jaina was able to make it out. They had the Cocoon onto the Johanna, and just not quite able to get into these squishy heroes with where they wanted and when they wanted. They did get the camp, though, so it's just gonna take 1 kill, and then we're gonna see Magic Master here pop off. Because if they get people as low as they did, if they have the Jaina down at a 3rd health again, they can start getting additional kills. It's 6 kills to none right now, but Franks has been very close. Cold Cuts having to use that Unstoppable to pull back, as the slow coming out from Lunara could have ultimately caused some problems there. There's the Ragnaros getting the taunt, pulled back a bit with the Blizzard on top here. Meteor going out onto DJ Cold Cuts, and we see that version of Medivh cheating, except with Meteors, rolling it back over the Garrosh there. But even with the 6 kills, a couple of Punishers, we only have 1 fort down in this entire map. That's the top fort for ProBUs, taking it down. Here comes the camp. It's not going to be the camp, never mind. We've got Johanna going into Cocoon, and Anubrak goes deep into the back there. It's Garrosh getting stunned by Sulfurious as Ana getting that nano boost down onto Li Ming. The throw onto Boggs to keep him off to safety, but here comes the Water Elemental sent after Boggs, keeping him nice and slow. And that's going to be enough with Lunara here. Now Ana in danger, gets the Cone of Cold, and a triple kill going out for ProBUs. And they're going to start making their way onto this top keep. Get this down. They have a catapult. They've got a pretty decently sized minion wave. And with their 16 advantage, they might be looking to end. They've got about 15 seconds before Ana comes up. They've got the Molten Core. And they've got mostly ranged damage in the Lunara and Jaina, so they don't quite have to risk the root from the core. Shielding is gone. It's at 90%. The big taunt coming out. They get the kill onto Lucio, possibly looking for more. There's Li Ming getting the orb, and the reset's coming out, and Jaina going down next. The throw coming out. Ana getting the sleep dart on to the Ragnaros. There goes the healing grenade, or anti-healing grenade, and that's going to be a triple kill coming out for Frank's Furters. Using the defense of their core, and Garrosh with that big Warlord's challenge puts them right back into this game. They've got level 16, and with 3 kills, they've got plenty of time to comfortably get this Arcane Punisher. Meanwhile, Johanna doing what she can to see if she can't maybe pick up this Shaman camp. I don't think that what she doesn't recognize is that she just doesn't do really any damage. So she probably can kill this other dog, and then she's going to have to pull back. Lunara probably could have helped with that, but that's getting this siege camp ultimately could eventually get them the bottom fort as well. So they're almost certainly going to lose mid fort. Right? ProBUs is very likely to lose this. And you know what? Maybe not. Maybe they've got Ragnaros. Well, he did just use Molten Core, so maybe not. But instead, they're calling in the troops here, going top, as this is a 5v4. The throw out onto Ragnaros, the boot back from Raynor. Big taunt, and Ragnaros should fall here, but the sound barrier coming in, as Garrosh is actually the first one to fall. There goes the Ragnaros. Doubting Pig now having to pull back, trying to make it with Ana just throwing out those healing darts. But Li Ming, all in the middle of ProBUs, is getting so much value. So many heroes low here. She's going to fall, but they do convert the kill onto Lucio. Anubrak diving in is going to fall next, but Raynor gonna allow them to get the Johanna kill. We do have 3 catapults in the top lane though, so that is getting some damage onto core. With the Punisher being pulled out, does it kill Jaina here? It really tried. It wanted to. And in the bot lane, that siege camp did get a fair bit of damage out onto the fort, but it's not quite enough to kill it. So both teams are getting 3 kills. Ultimately, the Shaman camp did get picked up by ProBUs. And that was a great play by Frank's Furters. They really set that up, got some kills, ultimately gave them the fort and a path to victory now in the mid keep here. They did lose some core value, but you know what? If you're not at 0, 69% is just as good as any. Shaman camp picked up, while the siege camp picked up. We're going to have a little bit of lane pressure, of course. Right now, this favors a little bit ProBUs, as the Shaman camp has to get stalled out. Going to be catapults there to clean it up. And we'll see. Both teams making their way to 20, but it's ProBUs Drift coming up right away. There it is, picking up that level 20 off the top lane. So they're going to be looking for a fight here. They want to find Frank's Furters in an awkward place, and with Jimmy down in the bot lane, this might be a good time for it, but they're not able to get there quickly enough. So let's take a look at what we've got. We do have Radiating Faith for Johanna, so she's going to have that additional stun time on more targets. We've got the Submerge, giving Ragnaros the opportunity to essentially have a get-out-of-jail free card there, right? If he gets the throw and then is able to hit that before Warlords or before Groundbreaker, then he can save a lot of incoming damage. Winter Mute, it's going to be intensifying toxin, so 3 stacks gets all that extra damage. And then, of course, Bossa Nova, so more shields more often for ProBUs Drift. Half a level away is Frank's Furters, and they're just trying to keep an eye out on where ProBUs is. They're trying to keep their shenanigans in the bot lane here hidden by going through this narrow passageway out of vision. Garrosh, pretty far forward here, is going to hold on to that bush, make sure that nobody comes through there and that his allies have vision. Now, the Wisp here, it is Sentinel Wisp at level 1, so after that Wisp has been in the bush for a few moments, they get that very large area of vision. Level 20 is now up, and the Punisher's coming into the top lane. This is 100% the best case scenario for ProBUs, and as long as you know, Frank's Furters can pick it up, they'll be able to get some structure damage, but most likely if they get enough to get the Punisher, they're probably going to look to end, because in theory they would have killed people. All right, Anubrak diving in over the wall does have the rewind, so he does have that just in case he needed that second burrow or the additional stuns. We've got Tal Rashas for Li Ming, so as she cycles through those abilities, she's going to increase her damage. Going to be that additional throw, Titanic Might, throwing 2 people along with the stun. There's the throw out into Johanna. She's going to go to sleep and get taunted here, but Lucio trying, can't quite get Johanna in there, and Johanna was just too far away. There was nobody there to support, really, Johanna there in that positioning. And this could be a worst case scenario. The ice block there just barely able to keep Jaina alive, and they're going to have to pull back now as Frank's Furters is going to get onto the point here. We do have here Execute for Raynor, so the additional damage when targets are under half health, and Ana going into that additional boost, the Nano Infusion. So all the extra self-healing when using Nano Boost on that probably Li Ming target. ProBUs doing what they can while Franks is clearing up. And this is again really the best case scenario for Frank's Furters, right? Being able to get the Punisher, and I don't know what to do with my I need to put get more points out there. But getting the Punisher, so it's in the soft lane for Frank's Furters, so they're going to be able to get some damage here. It's a frozen Punisher too, so they can push this pretty hard. That said, in the bot lane, ProBUs with the catapult, and I think there was a camp here somewhere, wasn't there? Maybe not. Oh, those are in the mid lane. So they are able to put some pressure here, forcing Frank's Furters to come back and at least bring some defense. Now, Johanna back on the map. Does get the Blessed Shield down onto Raynor, along with the Sulfuria Smash. And Raynor is just gone. He is melted from that massive hammer. Li Ming's going to have to back here. We do see that back coming as the rotation coming in from ProBUs. Possibly looking to see if they can end the game here. And this is still a difficult finish here. They do have the core defenses to deal with. Dallying Pig, however, getting obliterated between Jaina and Lunara, and that might be enough now, killing off one of the tanks. Lucio trying to keep Jaina alive as Li Ming going deep does get the kill, and getting healed right back up thanks to that Ana. Also, the level 4 dominance certainly helping a little bit there. Now, ProBUs having to head out as they no longer have their Jaina. A lot of value, a lot of damage that they've lost there. And Molten Core's down. So on the fighting retreat here, it's a 4v3. The only damage the Li Ming, but Chaos Tank's so very low that they really don't have an option. And once again, top value from Frank's Furters is that Frozen Punisher opening up top lane, killing the keep, and now giving an additional path to victory for Frank's Furters. So both teams now have the potential to finish this game if they're able to get enough of a team fight win. But it's much harder at this stage of the game with the changes they made to the towers and the core to finish a game with the core mechanics out there with just the one kill. You really have to be in a much better position for that. And I mean, not to forget about the fact that we have a Garrosh who can throw you into the core mechanics and a Numerak who can stun you or cocoon you and isolate at least one of your heroes, thus making it a relatively even fight. So ProBUs is going to have to really consider that when they call their core rushes. Now, that being said, Frank's has Li Ming and Raynor. So Raynor with the execute is going to be able to do great core damage when they get under 50%, but until then, they are a little bit limited in their core damage. So both teams here probably looking to end with a Punisher unless they get just a massive team fight. And that's what Frank's is looking to do. They're trying to find some engage. Setting up with a Numerak to go in, maybe. Getting a stun on somebody so that Garrosh can throw them back into the ranks and let the Li Ming and Raynor shred those health bars as they do so well. A few moments ago, we saw double siege camp going in the mid lane for ProBUs. This time, we're seeing it for Frank's Furters, and they're rotating around. The Wisp is going to keep an eye here on the team, so they're not going to be able to get the kind of bush gank opportunity they were hoping for. And I don't know that they would have seen them pull back. Maybe they did. Maybe they were revealed for... So, picking up that shaman camp. Not too big of a deal. And here comes the next right here. It's going to be a, what is it? Mortar Punisher. In the bot lane. And once again, this is the safest lane for ProBUs, as they do have both their fort and keep available. So any Punisher that comes through there is likely going to fall certainly at the core, if not before. It'd be a little bit more difficult for Frank's Furters if this goes over to ProBUs. So here we go. Looking for this fight. Garrosh trying to get up in some faces here. Looking for maybe a squishy target. But we saw earlier, it didn't matter. They were able to get some value out onto the Johanna. Johanna getting put into the cocoon. Can they get the Lucio? Garrosh not anywhere nearby for the taunt. But Garrosh looking for the Johanna as Chaos Tank getting the slow out. There's the rewind use. And we're going to get everybody pushed back on the side of Frank's Furters. Molten Core coming in, providing some great zone defense, as 33 already picked up here for ProBUs. So this is it. This is the time. Frank's has got to make a play right now, and it looks like they've got it. Johanna getting thrown out. Bossa Nova coming in from Lucio. Can he make it out? He can, but Jaina able to secure the kill onto Raynor. Desda is going to fall, but we see the Blessed Shield going out, and Garrosh, the next one to go down. Li Ming, the third, and Dallying Pig on a Numerak, making it a quad kill. And the only defender alive for Frank's Furters is Ana. But there's a massive wave of catapults here. Is Reg's going to go ahead and head back and take care of it? So no chance for those catapults to end the game, and Lunara ends up getting the kill onto Ana. And this should be GG, as this is a full health Punisher, bringing the core down from 69% all the way to 0. Game number 1 going over the ProBUs Drift. That was a pretty exciting game. And I have to say, very much like I said at the beginning of the game, it was difficult to tell which team was ultimately going to win that. Both of the drafts had different strengths, they have different paths to victory, but they had the ability to get there. Very strong front line from Frank's Furters versus the strong damage potential coming out that could even destroy any tank that walked up into it. Ultimately, I think that the majority of that game was favorable for ProBUs, and they lost a couple of poor attempts that really opened up the opportunity for Franks. They had some fantastic defenses there. They kept them in that game. So we'll have to see how this sets up for game number 2 in a few minutes. But until then, why don't we enjoy a little bit of, Blizzard history and watch one of their former video things that they did, whatever you'd call them. I'm going to call them commercials because that's what I have them with. We'll be back in just a few moments.
I have been abundantly clear, usurper. This realm belongs to me. Behold the power of the Dark Nexus. I shall bring order to this realm. And the Nexus itself. The Dark Nexus. It is mine to wield, to control.
From order comes justice. Glory to the firstborn.
Go forth and slaughter in my name. The Raven Lord demands it.
All right, welcome back, everybody. Getting set up and ready to go into game number 2. You do already know where we're going. Let's take a quick look again at our map history. As we've got ProBUs Drift Cannon Rush currently up 1-0 as they won on Infernal Shrines there over Frank's Furters. That was the map selection of Frank's Furters. We have now Volskaya Foundry, game number 2. It was the selection from ProBUs Drift. And our original bans, we had Frank's Furters there on, let's see, it was Braxis Holdout and Dragonshire. Bans coming from ProBUs were on Towers of Doom and Sky Temple. Oh man, just a little chat. Apparently, I'm not gonna name any names. Somebody had, after the game, queued into a Storm League game by accident, which of course meant that they had to die. You know what that means. But it looks like our teams are about ready to go, so we're gonna get right into this. Game number 2 on Volskaya Foundry. Alright, I expect to see some similar hero bans here. Probably see the Varian again. That seems to be a favorite against ProBUs. Could expect to see an ETC and a Raynor even. Raynor did do a lot of work, died a couple of times, but ultimately was a very strong hero for them and managed to sneak away multiple times. It wouldn't surprise me to see some of those. We're going to see the Sylvanas ban here. Of course, I didn't write down all of the bans from last game, so let's see if I can remember them. Let's see here. So there's the ETC ban. So I remember both of those, of course, were our first couple of bans. Last game, we banned out the Varian here, so we'll see if that sticks true, or if they look to make a change. Did they maybe get rid of the Johanna? Johanna here can do a lot of work, but they are going to stick with the Varian. They also have the opportunity to take Johanna. First pick now. Second ban coming in for ProBUs. Gonna be Kael'thas. I don't remember if Kael'thas was the second ban last game or not. And Johanna is in fact going to be first pick here for Frank's Furters, so both games. Is that a Lucio themed polo? You know what? It wasn't, but it should be. We'll go with that. Let's go with that. Here to support my good buddy, Lucio. And Li Ming gonna switch sides, and we're gonna see a Mal'Ganis now, so gonna get to see a different kind of tank. So now Franks has got to be looking at ways to counter that Mal'Ganis, because Mal'Ganis can do a lot of work. So certainly Johanna's Condemn can help with him. Do we see something like Uther or Brightwing that has a very short cooldown on a stun or a polymorph? We're gonna see the Falstad and Rexar. Start with at least. All right. Third ban here for ProBUs Drift coming up. Gonna be Tassadar. Tassadar is a good ban. Tassadar does a lot of damage, and I've seen him do pretty significant work here on this map. We're going to get rid of Ana as well. They don't want to have to face the Ana nano-boosted Li Ming. Gonna get Deckard, Kane, and Hanzo coming in, so Deckard can really lock people down with roots on these control points and set it up so that he can also leave healing behind. Instead of something with the shorter CC, we're gonna see Orphea, we're gonna see Rhaegar. So could see some slowing out of the Orphea, and Orphea is in a really strong place. Could be a really valuable pick there for them. Has a lot of self-healing, and Badger going to pick up the Blaze. And right here are our teams. So a couple of different ways to set up a CC chain for ProBUs. They've got Mal'Ganis Sleep, they got the Deckard Root, they got a potentially Stay a While, they've got Dragon Arrow, and they've got a Jet Propulsion. A lot of ways to make somebody stand still long enough for Li Ming to get a full combo. Meanwhile, Frank's Furters has the potential for a Bloodlust comp, right? They can go into that Falstad auto attack. They've got Orphea. Crushing Jaws could set up a really fantastic play for them. Maybe even going into the Falstad Hinterland's Blast. Johanna can set up a lot of plays. They don't quite have the same level of CC chain. They've got the Misha Charge. They've got Johanna. And they have a Disengage in the Mighty Gust if they look to go for that. So we'll have to see if they do that. All right. Let's get into it. Game number 2, ProBUs Drift Cannon Rush versus Frank's Furters. We've got ProBUs on the left here, currently up 1-0. It's going to be Aruba playing the Hanzo. We got Hirobi on Li Ming, Chaos Tank on the Mal'Ganis. We got Desna on Deckard, and Badgerlord playing the Blaze. And for Frank's Furters, we got DJ Coldcuts playing Rexar. We got Magic Master on the Orphea, Dallying Pig on Johanna. Bog's going to be on that Falstad, and Indecisive. And I got to tell you, Eric saying ProBUs plays Mal'Ganis now that I played him against them. I got to say, like, the number one reason that I started playing Mal'Ganis was because I got tired of people playing him against me. Number one reason. Didn't care if he was good or not, just got tired of other people playing him. So I said, you know what? I need to learn this hero better so that we can play against him better. We're going to see a rotation down onto Blaze. Now, there is the potential for slows here from Ancestral Strength, but Blaze able to get away before that rotation could. Falstad up in the top, though, is going to get put to sleep, has the barrel roll, is going to get out of danger zone there. As we see just a field of potions here in the mid lane by Deckard. Once again, heading down into the bot lane, we got the Rexar. Using Misha to get a stun onto Blaze could have potentially gotten there, but just not quite where it needs to be. All right, so we got Hanzo and Deckard working on this. We got an invade coming in from Franks. Falstad is going to fly in, the sleep coming into the back line, as Mal'Ganis now on the point. Li Ming from behind is going to bring Rexar down really low, but one more attack round needs to happen for that. Chaos Tank trying to get onto him. They're both extremely low. Both of them will fall, but that actually favors the Li Ming a little bit. Getting that reset, but ultimately not able to get any more kills. Now, who actually... I know that Franks got the camp, but who actually picked up that turret? Did anybody pick up that? Maybe they dropped it. Oh, yeah, here it is. Okay. There you go. Looks like we're going to get another turret camp for Franks. So that's going to give them a little bit of an XP advantage, even though 1-1 in the kills. Both of the fortification camps have gone over Frank's Furters. So that gives them a little over 0.5% or half a level of XP advantage here. Li Ming's a little forward. Li Ming not with the greatest of wave clear. But the Frank's Furters don't quite have the same level of CC chain. I mentioned that earlier. And until they get a level 10 ult from Orphea, if she even takes the Crushing Jaws, which seems like it's not as common anymore, we'll have to wait and see. Alright, the control point A is up and available. Nobody currently sitting on it as Chaos Tank can down there and get the channel started. So Li Ming going into the dominance. So once again, I think we actually saw that a second ago from Frank's Furters, but we'll come right back in just a moment, as it looks like we've got to pause and see what's going on. So far, no information about what's going on, but probably somebody having some problems. So why don't we just catch up on chat here for everybody? We're talking about kids, okay? Nothing to contribute on that. Stick with my zero, says Arby's. You know what? A+, you got it. Let's see. Adults go with the ride. Kids make things. What do they do? But so it looks like we do have some internet issues for somebody on the Frank's Furters, so hopefully we're going to get that taken care of and moving along. Set the time here. Easy to remember, 10:56. So what kind of things, since I got a moment, what kind of things would you like to see for channel points? Because obviously, you know, the longer that everybody hangs out here and visits casts, the more channel points you earn. So, not super imaginative when it comes to such things. So, if you have any ideas on things that might be an interesting use of channel points, well, throw them out there. Maybe I'll see about putting them in there. And certainly use them for things like emotes and modifying emotes. I've got a replay cast thing in there, and of course, all the dogs are passed out. Given how much the one dog, I'm not going to say her name, I don't want to wake her up, but given how much the one dog was playing with her squeaky toy, she's quite passed out now. But anyways, how y'all doing tonight? Tell me in 45 seconds. What's going on in your lives? Huh? How are your teams doing? Anybody in first place out there? Anybody in last place? This is a great opportunity for my co-caster. Whoa. Big old smiley face. Oh, we have her ready. Think we might get ready to go here. Means I won't actually be able to respond to how you guys are doing. Feels bad. Just waiting on them to give us the time. Doggo cam. I would. Like, that's actually why I set this up. So that Alpha could sit here, but in the other. Here we go. Back into game number 2 here. Between ProBUs Drift, Cannon Rush, and Frank's Furters. So far, about a third of the channel has been picked up by ProBUs. But with most of the teams split up here, Frank's Furters is going to get to work on the camp. They do have level 7 first, so I kind of expect now that ProBUs will pull back off of this. They do have all the potions down here, so, I mean, they've got a lot of channel. They just need to get 7, and then they can start thinking about this engage. There's level 7. Blaze and Li Ming in opposite lanes here. Blaze can rotate pretty quickly. Li Ming a little bit less quick. 88%, so not quite the flip it and win that they'd be hoping for. You know, sending it up to the overtime level with the 99%, but it's pretty close. We do have the cooldown reduction on Chomp for Orphea there at level 7. So if she hits a hero, she's going to have that Chomp back pretty quickly. So she can do a lot of damage into people. But it's actually Chaos Tank getting damage onto the Orphea there. And nearly getting the kill is Aruba, as Hirobi dodging Misha, trying to get away. Cold Cuts, however, Rexar going to be the first to fall. And look at how much damage going out. Dallying Pig falling very low, but Badger Lord having to pull away on the Blaze. And overtime has been procced here. Chaos Tank fighting in the turret range, so has to pull back. Both teams relatively low, but with having the potions available, it's going to be ProBUs Drift able to get the channel started. Can Franks make it back in time to stall this out? And Johanna's going to get onto the point. We see some additional taps coming in from ProBUs here. Root coming out from the Decker. Jet Propulsion just missing there as Orphea getting put to sleep, falling in the Blaze Fire. First kill going down. However, DJ Cold Cuts throwing those axes out at the Blaze, so it's now back to a 4v4, but Dallying Pig getting very low, has the Iron Skin. Rexar, however, falling to the Hanzo in the back, and there's a kill, making another kill and another one as Li Ming reset Ming City. 4 kills in that engagement for ProBUs as they pick up the first protector of the game and get to work on the wall. They've got the minions here, so that should finish up the tower and the wall. They're heading up into the top lane to get to work on that well, and they've got now level 10s. That first control point took a little while, so it gave all the way from getting level 7s initially, and thanks to that kill, getting level 10s now for ProBUs. We have that wave of force, the stay a while, and loosen. We got the carrion swarm, bunker drop from the blaze there. And waiting on Hanzo, there's the dragon arrow. So we got that CC chain all kinds of ready to go. And even at level 20, if Mal'Ganis goes into the upgraded carrion swarm, that's another form of CC that really just sets up the plays. And that's a wide range. Well, level 10's now up for Frank's Furters as the protector will fall. What do we got? We got the Bestial Wrath from Rexar there. We got Orphea going into the Crushing Jaw, so no Eternal Feast. And I think that makes a lot of sense. I think that that combos well with that Blessed Shield that Johanna took. It doesn't take long to set up. The Blessed Shield would be probably enough time to lock them in place to make sure that they get that stun and really the double stun. Johanna then able to use her Punish for that big subdue value as well. We also have the Mighty Gust and the Bloodlust, so ultimately going to have to be careful about the use of those heroics and make sure that they don't counter-synergize there with the Mighty Gust and the various stuns here. Johanna calling up for the team might not be in enough time, though, as Li-Ming teleporting, but not quite where she wanted to get to, but it didn't matter because it was only Johanna. And turns out Johanna 1v4, not likely to really do too much against your team. Nor are you going to do much against her. She's going to go ahead and pop that Iron Skin and walk away. Checking in on the XP. We looked earlier around this time last game, and it was very even at that point. A little bit of a balance in favor. I think it was Frank's Furters at that point, but that was a little bit before 10 as well. Checking it in here. ProBUs, a little bit of an advantage here so far. Minions, just a little bit. Primarily in the hero kills, of course, 6-1, as they get now level 13. Mercenary captures, however, very much in favor of Frank's Furters. And the later this game goes, those mercenary captures could become a significant threat if Frank's Furters is able to continue picking those up over ProBUs Drift. Well, Rexar gets that stun here, but there's the Dragon Arrow looking for the kill onto Rexar. Fellclaw's coming out, and that combo, again, you've got, in that case, it was Dragon Arrow into Jet Propulsion. We had the root that was just not quite able to get there, but you know what? Zoning roots, and those are a thing, right? I mean, that Dorito is massive. So putting it down where you want somebody to not go is almost as good as actually rooting them in place. Maybe even better in some cases. Super Pot's going to be the play here for Deckard, as a lot of value onto this wall in the bot lane, prepping up for later in the game, as both teams now sitting on the same talent tier, level 13, and at full strength. Speaking of those items, Frank's Furters is going to get the turret camp, and they're going to head right over. They know at least somebody's up on top, so they're going to rotate in, get another fortification camp. That's going to be 3 turrets now for Frank's Furters. Meanwhile, for ProBUs, we've got 1 turret and 1 biotic emitter. Top lane already taken some damage from, I believe, the siege camp earlier from Frank's Furters. So about equal top lane versus bot lane on opposite sides here, so we'll see how that turns out. This is typically a game that goes long, and that bot lane is often the path to victory for many teams, so gonna see some probably more focus on that as we get later in the game. Misha gonna fall there thanks to that Dorito here. And the Dragon Arrow landing, but it's gonna get negated by that Iron Skin here. Stay a while is gonna lock down a lot of the Frank's Furters, but Bloodlust not in time for Orphea. She's gonna fall here as Dorito coming out is gonna connect onto Johanna. No Iron Skin this time as the Biotic Emitter coming in for ProBUs, but so are the turrets for Frank's Furters, and they're just getting so much work. But it's not enough as Rexar going down as well, and that's gonna secure the second protector here now for ProBUs. So the question now is, do they... Yeah, they're going to ignore entirely the pressure they've created in the top and mid lanes. Looks like they're going to make their way all the way down to the bot lane. And they've set this up already. That kill earlier onto Rexar, giving them the time... Oh, never mind. They're going to make a pit stop. We're not going where I thought we were going. They figured they'd clear this out first, let Blaze finish off the minions, and then that way they've got the minion wave pressing forward as well. You know what? Why not? They got the forward out of the way, and now they've got a level 16 advantage as well. So one more step here in favor of ProBUs. But this is around the point where Frank's Furters last game started to really provide a significant defense, right? ProBUs had gotten perhaps a little bit overconfident in their positioning, in their structures at the time. That said, that laser bringing Falstad down to half health in a single shot. Orphea up in the top lane trying to get as much XP as they can so that Frank's Furters can get that level 16 and possibly make something work here. There's the Bloodlust. This is down the Orphea though. I think we saw the stay while attempted, but Falstad's gonna finish off the Deckard. Carrion Swarm keeping Mal'Ganis alive as he gets some healing value out of that Misha. But that's it. That's all they're going to get. They do get the kill onto Deckard, which is impressive. That was down a fight, down a talent here. But it was unexpected. And Bloodlust is a legitimate threat. And I'm not sure if ProBUs recognized that Orphea was even in the top lane, that was a 5v4. If they had, they might have turned around and said, you know what? Fine, bring it. We'll take this, right? With that CC chain, maybe a Jet Propulsion or a Night Rush from Mal'Ganis. And Mal'Ganis, I think, did take... Is this the... No, that's the AoE damage. That's right. Okay. So... a little bit of a defense here coming out from Franks. That's going to give them their second kill in the game. Looking for more. They're on the same talent tier now. They gave them a big boost. That kill. Top lane is even. So these are going to meet. I'm not sure which one of these actually wins this if they were just left to their own devices. But it's not going to matter as ProBUs is going to head up and clear that out. It looks like they may even try to pressure in for this fort with the full camp and a decent-sized minion wave. They've got some poke from the Li Ming, so they can do that fairly safely. That's about it. They get just a couple of hits onto it. Some pressure in the mid lane and in the bot lane, though, as we do have catapults beginning to make their way, so... even though they don't have a camp pushing, this is a good time for them to fight. They're slightly up in level. They have a little bit of an advantage in the other lanes pushing in their favor. So all they can do to keep Franks distracted and away from those lanes gives them value. There's nothing else to do on the map, right? Minute and a half still on the support camp. A little bit more than that on the fortification camps. Or I'm sorry, the siege camps, and then the fortification camps are also a little bit over a minute. So right now, just looking for the opportunities. Okay, the big Dragon Arrow after the Fell Claws, and that's going to be a kill onto Orphea, allowing 100% for the secure of the top fort. Also, of course, seeing Frank's Furters, the bulk of them in the bot lane, trying to gather that XP, right? Trying to get closer to level 20 and catch up a little bit. But instead, that kill on Orphea just at her gate sets him a little bit behind. That's going to give ProBUs now the opportunity, at least, to push on this. Now, the last time they fought without Orphea, with Bloodlust, 4v5, but it looks like that's not quite where they're going with this right now. One more turret. So now we've got 3 turrets, this time on the side of ProBUs. 4 turrets. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 turrets. This just became an absolute nightmare. This conveyor belt right here, set with a bunch of turrets, becomes death. Like, Orphea just dies. Falstad just dies. I don't think that they can even pretend to step into that. But they're doing it now before the level 20s come up. There's the Bloodlust here. Stay a while is coming up, but it gets interrupted. Dragon Arrow, short range, gets onto 3. Line going out. Crushing Jaws is going to land onto Li Ming, who's trying to run backwards on the conveyor. Is going to be able to get out with the teleport here. Chaos Tank trying to get out as well, as Blaze does get the disengage. The sleep coming out. Johanna uses the Iron Skin to get away, though. So ultimately just the 1 kill onto the Hanzo. And many turrets were dropped. I don't know if these guys had to or not. I was too busy looking at the 4 the ProBUs had. But it's entirely possible that those were dropped and picked up by Frank's Furters instead of used by ProBUs. With the team split and a level 20 advantage, at least for a few moments, we are going to see ProBUs looking to pick up the biotic emitter. Now, Hanzo is not going to be able to make it in unless his Dragon Arrow comes up quickly enough for him to use play of the game. I don't think there's anything ProBUs can do. I think Rexar is going to be able to pick this up. And that is going to be the case. Just not quite enough distance there for Jet Propulsion to get onto the point. So the first protector for Frank's Furters coming up here. Rexar is going to get in. We've got Falstad going in as well. They're going to get to work in this bot lane. Try to equalize the pressure here. Crushing Jaws is going to go out. It does catch Mal'Ganis, interrupting the Carrion Swarm. So that's going to take him out. Stay a while coming out as well with the Dragon Arrow. So getting a lot of CC onto the 3 outside of the protector, but they just don't have the ability to get the damage where they need to make that work. Down goes the first fort here for Frank's Furters this game. And they're looking now to get onto the keep. They've got already 1 tower down. Should be able to get the 2nd tower down. Somebody's got to finish the first one, though. Crushing Jaws will hit onto Badgerlord there. And keep in mind, too, with that level 20 upgrade, Crushing Jaws now reduces armor by 25. And probably more importantly, anytime somebody dies, it doesn't matter whether Orphea has anything to do with it, as long as she's nearby, the cooldown of Crushing Jaws goes to 5 seconds. So getting that armor reduction is great. Having the cooldown reduction makes it even better. So keep wall did fall a bunch there, as the protector now just about out of health, sitting at 5%. Nice and healthy. Probably has about as much health itself as the fort here does in the mid lane. All 5 heroes are up and available now for ProBUs. Blaze down in the bot lane, gonna try to clean up the pressure that started up here as the Punisher going to expire. It looks like Frank's Furters is considering possibly cleaning up the mid lane, but it looks like they're instead going to rotate in and grab the fortification camp. And it looks like ProBUs just doesn't have an idea. Well, Li Ming figured it out eventually, but a little bit too late. Night Rush used there by the Mal'Ganis, but ultimately interrupted by Misha. So let's talk about these level 20s. So I mentioned the upgraded Carrion Swarm, right? So giving them Seeker Swarm, sending out those bats to find heroes and putting them to sleep for a few moments. We got the upgraded Bunker, gives the armor, also the oil, right? So it increases the armor to 50 armor when coming out. Really fantastic. Wave of Force, the repulsion is huge. But Mal'Ganis going in is going to be too late to cap that. Does get a couple of sleeps out, however. But the team is very split here as Jet Propulsion coming in. Here comes the Bloodlust, and Carrion Swarm is going out. Can it get any sleeps out as the Bunker is dropped, but Deckard not able to get out safely. Mal'Ganis no longer has Carrion Swarm, and he's surrounded. That's going to be a nice, easy kill there for Frank's Furters, getting that onto Mal'Ganis. Badgerlord trying to get away, does use the Jet Propulsion, and Boggs probably sitting there going, guys, I needed you here. We could have killed that Blaze. Let's talk about the rest of these level 20s. The play of the game there is going to be the play for Hanzo, and of course, Bottomless Flask for Deckard. Meanwhile, we've got the, what is the upgrade? It's called Gladiator's Warshout. So, doubling up on the Bloodlust for Rhaegar. We got the Wind Tunnel, which is, I mean, that's a dangerous play now for ProBUs if Falstad's able to get a good Wind Tunnel. We got that Radiant Faith again, the upgrade to Bestial Wrath, Spirit Bond, and of course, Engulfing Oblivion, as mentioned. So, a lot of upgraded heroics here. All of them? All of them except for Deckard. Deckard is the lone hero who did not upgrade his heroic. But 5 and 5 back on the map as ProBUs looking to possibly defend in the top lane. I'm not entirely sure where Mal'Ganis is going. Oh. Never mind. My guess is that Mal'Ganis is a bot. And Survey would say, yes, that's correct. Look at you, Mal'Ganis, just popping a hearth right there in the lane. Got another pause. 20 minutes later into this game. All right, let's see. Nobody told me how they were doing. Nobody told me how their day was. Said absolutely nothing. You guys make me sad. I don't know what to say to you people. Dogs are still passed out. One of them's twitching though. Kind of cute. Occasionally just seeing a foot just kind of lazily like shove up off the bed. Let's talk about these teams though. So we've got ProBUs Drift, the number tied for number 8. They were 6 and 12. Frank's Furters 4 and 9. So Frank's has a few more games to play, it sounds like. So depending on how this goes here, if they can pull off a victory on this game, and then if they can win game number 3, they may just find themselves in that playoff contention. Yeah, because they're 13 games, so likely still have a couple extra games. They'll have yet to play. But keep in mind too, you know, I mentioned about 5 minutes ago in game time, late game is when Frank's Furters really started to pick up in game number 1, and we've seen it now here as well. Right after I said that, they went from 9 and 1 in kills to 9 and 2 immediately after, but now it's 10 to 6. So we'll see if this we'll see if the teams are able to continue on their path to victory, right? Right now, Frank's has got mid and bot fort cleaned up. All forts are down on the side, or in favor of ProBUs. We're ready to go. And Frankfurter's looking to do the same, as the mid control point is coming up here in just a moment. And one fortification camp is up. Frankfurter's has been pretty on point about getting on these quickly this game, as we can probably see on the minion, or the heroes. Mercenaries, there you go, mercenary XP. 3,000 more XP currently in favor of Frankfurter's. They are going to go in. There's the play of the game coming in. Massive damage, but the Bloodlust coming out as well. Rexar, or Misha rather, falling low, but the Biotic Emitter providing so much healing, as Falstad having to pull back, use the barrel roll, and use that wind tunnel to escape. Badgerlord popping out of the bunker is going to be able to disengage as well. So all of the R buttons pressed there, except for the Carrion Swarm from Mal'Ganis. So depending on how they play this, if Mal'Ganis goes in with that Carrion Swarm and sets up a big sleep into a Deckard route, into a jet propulsion, with no Bloodlust, no wind tunnel, ProBUs could really set up a play here with that, with those Seeker Bats, Seeker Swarm. Instead, they're going to provide that pressure in the top lane for now. as we do have some of the ultimates starting to come back online, and I think having that wind tunnel is the absolute best circumstance for Frank's Furters here. So Claw's going in. We're going to see the Night Rush, putting Misha to sleep. So far, the only one to fall asleep, and that's going to pull Frank's Furters back. And I think that's a great play from Frank's Furters. They want to have the Bloodlust. They've got their disengage tool potentially from Falstad, but if they can find the right angle, Falstad with a wind tunnel could just end this game. And this control point, there's not a lot of space for them to find the right point. They almost have to push them into like this alcove maybe, because there's nowhere else. There's no other like wall to really push them into. I suppose they could potentially push them over here. That's probably just as likely with a Falstad like using a barrel roll or even a fly potentially, but we'll see. All ultimates back up. We'll see which team uses theirs and wins. Here it comes, the Bloodlust, the play of the game coming out here. Rexar falling low, but we got to stay a while. The Crushing Jaw's gonna land onto 2. Orphea getting so much value. Rexar gonna fall to the Li Ming. Hanzo having to use that natural agility to jump over the wall here. Mal'Ganis there trying to get away, dodging the Crushing Jaws, and now they're chasing down the Orphea. Is it enough? And it is. So 2 for 2 so far here, and the channel still very high. But guess what? Deckard, leaving behind potions, is able to provide so much extra value for his team if his team's able to survive the damage from the turret, from the Falstad. So in a way, this is kind of like having a 3.5v3. And now that turret's gone, Rhaegar falling very low, the repulsion not quite landing where it needed to, and now Hirobi in danger, but the sleep coming out from Chaos Tank is going to keep Hirobi just nice and healthy, and the Punisher coming up, but Hanzo getting the snipe out onto Falstad. So that's going to be a Falstad down for a full minute. The Protector now coming into the bot lane most likely. They've got a good push here. Couple of catapults. The wall's already down. Frank's able to pick up the top lane fort there, as the Protector is going to just shred this bottom keep. With 4 heroes defending, the Protector is going to take a fair bit of damage, and I don't know that they win the game here, right? They don't have everybody here, although everybody's now showing up. Protector's sitting at half health here. Still no Falstad, but there's the Bloodlust coming out. Stay a while and listen is going to land onto the Orphea, so that's going to stop the big burst of damage here. Core at 40%, Protector falling rapidly, and it's not going to matter. That Protector at 25 minutes going to do so much damage, and ProBUs Drift is going to pick up the 2-0 victory over Frank's Furters. And chat calling it out. MVP potions, right? Taking the endless pots, the bottomless flask, making sure that ProBUs was able to stay on that point is ultimately what set them up to be able to be victorious in that game. 13 kills to 8. Any of those coming there at the very end. Let's see if we can go ahead and get an interview. Let's see here. No, I don't think I showed the talents at the end of the last game, but that's fine. I showed them enough times. You guys could see them in there. Ghost Deckard MVP. The dead guy doing all the work. Chaos is on the way. All right. So we are going to be joined by Chaos Tank here in just a moment. Presumably fairly soon.
All right. Hey, Arrow.
Hello, hello, and welcome. Congratulations on your victory. We are joined by Chaos Tank here. How's the team feeling after that win?
We're pretty ecstatic at the moment. We're all feeling really good. That was a nail-biter of a game, but it feels good.
I can imagine. So I have to say, let's start off with the big brain here. Chat calling it out. I have to agree, and I mentioned it in the game there. Desda, 100% MVP of that game, and mostly the potions left available for you and Hirobi and Aruba to actually stay on that point and ultimately get that protector. Because I think without that, you guys have a much more difficult time.
It's almost like we had a 4v3 even though she was dead. Yeah.
For sure. So you guys are on a little bit of a streak now, right? Because if I remember correctly, you guys won a 2-0 last week. And I think you might have won your previous game. You had a little bit of ups and downs, but it seems like things are starting to kind of come together and fire on all cylinders. How are things going for the team right now?
I like to think that we're on the upswing. The probes get stronger as the season goes on. We've kind of found our footing, and we're feeling good now. We've been having some others look at our replays. We're tightening up our rotations and our decision making. Ironically, some of that came back to bite us a little bit tonight, but it's definitely a work in progress. And I think that if you look at our previous games earlier on in the season, it's night and day.
Sure. And I'm imagining that what you're talking about with the coming back to bite you is making the decisive call for the core a couple of times. Is that what you're talking about?
That's part of it, yes.
Okay.
We thought that we could end, and then it's been a really tumultuous season. I think that's been part of why it's been difficult to find our footing, is just because of the new Nexus anomaly. It's really hard to know what is safe and what is not. I feel like previously, when the core didn't fight back, that would have been an easy call to make, but
absolutely. So game one here. So the drafts were very different. I was surprised by the garage at the end by Frank's Furters. How surprised were you guys, and how much did that change your strategy going into that, knowing the draft that you had was, other than your Johanna, a fairly squishy draft?
Yeah, it worried us a little bit. We looked at that draft and we thought that if Anna gets a sleep on anybody, they are just dead. There's nothing that we can do about it. So we were really trying to play around the sleeps, more so than Garrosh or anything else. But I think it came back to bite them, maybe. Garrosh is not what you would consider a traditional offlaner. I don't think his wave clear was what they wanted, and I think that really contributed to our victory.
Sure. And then in game number 2, you guys set up with almost literally every player having some kind of CC. So was that kind of your plan going into this, knowing that you're going into Volskaya where everybody wants to be on a control point and setting up for those AoEs, or was that just a combination of, hey, this is the hero that I want to play with this scenario? What do you
Little bit of column A, little bit of column B. Obviously, CCs are good when you can get them, but not every hero has them. Sometimes it's just good to play with something like a Raynor, and you have to kind of make that choice whether you want range or the crowd control.
Sure. So I'm going to ask you one last question about the games here. At the end of game 2, so before the 3v3 or 3v3.5 that you guys had for a little while there was that fight over the fortification camp where all of the R buttons are used with the exception of your Carrion Swarm. And then both teams kind of just walked away. There were no deaths. There were some items used. But when you guys walked away there, I was a little surprised because you still had your Carrion Swarm and you still had Seeker Swarm. And I felt like, knowing that all of their abilities were used and most of yours were used, that probably lent a little bit more value to your team. So when you guys were leaving that engagement, was there any particular reason that you didn't go look for them to try to take that fight? Or was there something else that you were trying to accomplish at that point?
Well, you're right. I still had Carrion Swarm that was not for lack of trying. I was furiously hammering the button, and they stunned me out of it. So I definitely wanted to get Seeker Swarm out, but good on them for denying that. I think that's a pretty impactful 20, and that might have turned the whole thing too. But no, I was more so. I didn't like that choke point. I think that they fought really well there. They had a few more cooldowns maybe, and I was happy to give up that turret in order to take another fight that was maybe more favorable to us.
Well, and I guess what I'm talking about is the moment after that. Everybody's left the site. They go back toward the control point, and you guys went up, I think, up toward top lane. I think maybe you had a siege camp that was going at that time, so you killed a minion wave. But ultimately, it meant that by the time you got back, you guys had some of your, like, repulsion was back up, of course. They had not much up at the point, but of course, the biggest concern that I had was the wind tunnel. And I didn't know if that was, when you guys left that, if you were trying to wait, build time for your ultimates, if you were trying to cause map pressure. So I was just trying to get an idea of what was going on in the minds of probes at that time.
We were a little bit less concerned with wind tunnel. There obviously is a thing that can wreck teams if they gust them into the wall, but we were actually more so concerned with the bloodlust, and so we wanted to engage again before that came back, and I think we got him at just the right time.
It did turn out ultimately to go in your favor. Unfortunately, Deckard got caught, and I think Deckard and Blaze both got chaos or whatever the Orphea ult is. I can't remember the name of it now. The
Crushing Jaws.
Crushing Jaws, yeah, not Chaos Jaws. Crushing Jaws.
You can name it Chaos Jaws.
It caused a little bit of chaos for you guys there, for sure.
It definitely did.
So, all right. Well, so you guys have a few more games than some of the other teams so far in the division. So, how are your prospects looking for the rest of the season? How are you feeling good about where you're at? Do you think you're going to be able to make it into the playoffs? You're certainly right now, I think, in now 7th place with this win. Where do you think you guys end up?
It's a little bit funny. The 3 wins that we got, we've kind of got a little bit of a joke on the inside now. We don't always win, but when we do, we get 2-0s and end up getting lots of points, and so that's, I think, really helping us as we march toward playoffs. That's obviously the goal, to qualify for that. We're going to keep doing our best, and obviously all the other teams are too. I think we've got... Next up, we've got Calculated Throw, and then Full Metal Jacket after that. Those will be really good games. It's hard to say who wins those. I think it's definitely up in the air, but I feel good about our chances, better than I did like 3 weeks ago when... It's funny, we post a playoff projection in the NGS chat, and I think we were at like 2% chance to make it, and now we're at about 48% projected chance to make it, so... Quite a jump in a short period of time. It's amazing what a win will do for you.
It is, and if you get the win against the right team as well, like that certainly shifts numbers. I know we had a similar circumstance where our playoff chances were single or 10 teens percent or something like that, but then we beat a high ranking team 2-0, and it went from like 13% or something like that to like 80%, and suddenly we were back in the game. So it's... You just got to keep pushing, and hopefully, you get a couple more wins under your belt, find yourselves in the playoffs, and then you can be the Cinderella story of ProBUs a couple seasons ago.
Right? Yeah, I figured you, of all people, would remember us squeaking into the playoffs as 6th seed and then fighting our way all the way through. So, like I said, the probes, it takes us a while for us to put down those pylons and get that Cybernetics core out and get the Robo Bay up, but once we get the Death Ball rolling, it feels good.
Well, speaking of the Death Ball, was there any particular moment tonight that you wanted to make sure got highlighted?
You know what?
You knew this was coming.
I did. I have a hard time seeing the play of the game well in the heat of the moment. I need to go back and watch the game to look again for what exactly deserves the play. I know that Aruba hit a really big arrow once. I know we got some really good ganks on their solo laner a couple of times. There are so many moments that this was such a back and forth game. It really could have gone either way. And why don't you tell me? Was there a play of the game that really stood out to you?
Well, there was actually, you know, I'm gonna say two, and they're both. One of them's the other team. One of them's your team. The play of the game from Franks that I really liked and ultimately gave them the potential to come back was in game one, where you guys made your first core call and Garrosh got the taunt on to Lucio and I think Johanna, but they got the Lucio kill, which ultimately led to additional kills, which led to them, you know, getting map pressure and getting a protect or punisher. So that was a big play from them. I want to make sure that I shouted that out. But there was a really fantastic play of the game that set up. You guys had like a combo of play of the game along with, I believe, a jet propulsion. I think there was a stay a while in there as well. And it was in the bot lane, I think. But it was just like the combo kind of just fit. And it wasn't like you deleted the entire team by doing it. If I remember correctly, only one person, you know, died from that. But it was still like, guys, we need to do X, Y, and Z. X, Y, Z happened. You win the fight, and then that was enough, right? So it was a really fantastic play, and I think it started with a play of the game Dragon Arrow, if I remember right.
I think that might have been that fight over turret camp on bottom where nobody died really.
That might have been. Actually, you're right. That is the camp. I was trying to remember where exactly it was. I just remembered calling out the play of the game so it just kind of connected in my brain with it. But I couldn't remember exactly the positioning. You're probably right. And those are plays that, like, when everybody does everything, it seems like there's no value to it, but there's tons of value to those plays because it means that everybody on both sides either just completely whiffed or, in this case, did everything right, both offensively and defensively. You know what I mean? Absolutely.
I'll have to go over that play again because I thought we coordinated really well, but they obviously used a lot of their cooldowns as well, and I think the only reason we got out of that was Blaze's bunker in the end, so...
Yeah, probably. Yeah, and chat is riding hard talking about the Decker pots, of course. And of course, I mean, that was so good, right? That's a very good play. And again, just like I said at the very beginning, Desda, you know, A+ way to keep your team in the game and ultimately probably winning the game. So there you go.
No pots, no victory. That's absolutely right.
All right, well, let's go ahead and wrap it up. Any shout-outs you'd like to make?
Shout-outs, of course, to the whole team. Desda for those incredible potions that she threw down. And that was excellent. Shout-outs to Badger for always keeping up the soak, keeping us competitive in levels. Both of my damage dealers, Aruba and Hirobi, you guys were excellent. Shout-outs to all of the probes and the tryhards and all of the other probe-associated figures in the chat. Thank you so much for watching. Shout-outs to Frank's Furters. You guys put up a hell of a fight. Nicely done. Good luck the rest of the season for you guys, and thank you, Arrow, for casting. You were always such a pleasure to work with.
It's been great. Thanks for joining me tonight, and we'll see you... You have a game Thursday? You do, right?
We do have a game Thursday. That is our game versus... I need my calendar. Calculated Throw.
All right, well, I'll see you on Thursday then.
All right, see you Thursday. Thank you much, Arrow.
You're welcome. All right, everybody, that's going to wrap us up. So I'm going to take a moment, see if I can find somebody to raid you over to. But thanks, everybody, that was out there joining us tonight from Twitchland. Appreciate you guys, getting some chat in there, having a good time. I hope you enjoyed the cast. I am back on Thursday. I am casting another ProBUs Drift Cannon Rush, as you just heard, along with Calculated Throw on the other side, and... take a look. Probably have a double header in there, depending on the time. I don't remember what time that starts. But make sure you stop by. I'm going to go check to see what else we got going on in the world of NGS. And have a wonderful night.